Yo, you tuned in to Gorilla Cross Radio.
Broadcasting live from downtown Las Vegas, you're tuned in to Gorilla Cross Radio.
All right, here we go. Welcome to Levels, your MMA and boxing show, I guess. I'm Jeremy Long. You might not know me anymore. I haven't been here in weeks.
Where you been?
I've been patient zero as far as coronavirus is concerned.
You best not.
No, I'm not. Back from my world travels, joined by Cassandra the Sportsnista. Cece, how are you?
Hey, all good. So where'd you go?
Paris. I went to Paris, France with my beautiful, loving wife who did not stab me on this trip.
That's good. She leave you
good.
someplace in some strange alley.
Yeah, in some strange alleyway. Sold one of my kidneys and left me for dead. Like a Jason Bourne movie.
Oh, goodness.
And then we also made our way over to Brussels, Belgium, and had some chocolate and waffles. And
how were the waffles?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And oddly enough, quick story, I found a sister from New Orleans, and she had opened up a churros and waffle shop in the middle of Belgium. And quick talk with her, and she was like, "Oh, I sold everything. I left my fiance who wasn't going anywhere, doing anything, and I moved over here and did all this." And I was like, "Go ahead, girl." She had a line of people just lined up, for these waffles and churros, who delicious, both of them. And she was like, "It's like this every single day. Every single day I have a line of people, a line of customers." She was doing her thing. She looked happier. She's like, "I've never been happier." So there you go. If she's watching, I don't know.
Just sell stuff. How's the education system over there?
The education, I know. Yeah, I was looking at apartments. I was like, I wonder what people do here. I don't know if they like a podcast about fighting. So, really good stuff, but cool. I'm glad you guys held it down while I was gone.
Held it down. I got snacks today.
Was Goose Thomas on this show?
Yes, he was.
Oh, man, I felt scared at some point. I felt scared, and I brought myself to church. Very promptly. I could feel his presence. Thank you, Goose, for stepping in and doing the thing with CC. CC, we had a big fight coming to town. I don't know if you heard it or were aware of it. And it was really big overseas, too. People were talking about it, believe it or not, sitting in cafes.
Oh, yeah?
Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, and now there is 2 left. Two giants left standing.
Yeah.
Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, and so that'll come. But let's take us through your fight week. And you got some good interviews, too, and we're going to play a few for you.
Yeah, so I guess we can go ahead and I'll kick this one off. So it was a tremendous week, and it was the convergence of what I would call the media super friends. So there was ESPN and Fox as the broadcasting partners. DAZN was in on that action, too, because they had the exclusive broadcast rights for Germany, Switzerland, I want to say, a handful of countries. Overseas. So if you were there, you can catch it on DAZN. And then we also had the ESPN and Fox broadcast team as well involved. And then, of course, the promoters Top Rank and PBC. So that was interesting to see all those kids get along in the sandbox and come together for what was a colossal fight.
Right.
In terms of it living up to expectations, I think there were a lot of people were surprised at how proficient Tyson Fury was, and how little Deontay Wilder had for him. So let's go ahead and kick off this one with Jay Deese. Jay Deese is the longtime trainer for Deontay Wilder. Been with him since he was a teenager, probably like 18 years old, maybe a little younger. And earlier in the week, I asked Jay, kind of like, why does he think Deontay doesn't get the credit outside of having that colossal right hand? So he laid out the game plan. Let's see what he said.
Kind of like the rounds are the battles and the result is the war. So if you're losing a few battles, but you win the working toward winning the war, that's okay. You see what I'm saying?
Because you know your girl, these sports see here at JD's talk a lot about Deontay's power. What is one thing that you think he just doesn't get enough credit for?
I think probably his ring IQ, and I think that people that don't know any better think that he's loses rounds and then he lands a big shot. But I'm trying to tell people he's working toward a conclusion. During those rounds, he is getting from a positioning, spacing, timing, distance standpoint, he's getting where he needs to be to land those big shots. So he's working toward those big shots. So I don't think people give him enough credit for the ring IQ that it takes to do that, or the skill that it takes to do that.
He's telegraphing it.
Mm-hmm.
He's telegraphing around.
Well, yeah, he's working toward a conclusion. It's kind of like the rounds are the battles and the result is the war. So if you're losing a few battles, but you win the working toward winning the war, that's okay. You see what I'm saying? So that's what he's doing. He may lose a battle here or there, lose a round here or there, but at the end of the day, the result is what we're after.
I read somewhere that he tiled the gym.
Yeah.
The gym floor. Can you tell how that came about and how's the floor look?
Well,
We'll come
the
back
old
from
gym,
that
so
one.
I'm sure
He's
the
going
people
to
that are
tell
now
us
are
about
appreciative of
Deontay
it.
making
But
spaghetti.
he, right after the Olympics, I came to the gym one day.
I asked him,
That's a
what
pretty
other
interesting
talents
story.
does he have? And he said Deontay's a good cook. And I was like, what does he make?
Deontay, and he's like, I'm in here.
Spaghetti.
So I went around.
Like
to the
spaghetti
bathroom,
is
he's
like
down there
learning how to use your
retiling the
pots and
bathroom
pans
floor. I'm like,
101.
What are you doing?
You boil water.
Look, a mom's about to be real with you. Like, spaghetti ain't nothing.
nothing.
You tell me he's a good cook and he makes
You
cereal.
make spaghetti.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
So,
it thinks people know.
but
He's
I
very
just thought it
good
was
with
interesting
his
when he was
hands
saying
in
he's
terms of,
basically building
not
up
just boxing,
to
but in
landing
terms of
that
fixing
right.
things.
And
Mhm.
to
He has the
me,
mechanic
what I
behind
took
it,
it as, they
personality
were
where he
willing
can
to
tinker and
allow
fix
him
things,
to take
but he's
on
also trying to
damage
cook.
in order to put him in position to land that right. Extremely dangerous position to put the man in.
Right.
He's been able to skate by because he's, had that superior right hand, but I don't think he was exposed in this fight. I think we knew who he was.
Yeah, and that's my, MP and I kind of touched on TFC earlier this evening, but, a lot of people jumped on, of course, modern boxing and modern boxing fans and MMA fans to a certain degree, they see it as if a guy loses, all of a sudden he's a bum.
Right.
He got exposed. No, Deontay Wilder's not a bum, man. He's got an incredible right hand. And, I mean, a concussive kind of punch that you see it happen with fighters a lot. They fall in love with a certain thing.
Yeah.
And then that's what they lean on the entire time. I use the example of Sugar Rashad Evans, who was a Division I wrestler and an incredible guy, and he fell in love with the knockout. And when all of a sudden he couldn't do the knockout anymore, he almost seemed lost, like he forgot that he was a wrestler.
Yeah.
And so Deontay Wilder, when you have an absolute H-bomb for a fist,
Man.
You fall in love with that thinking at any time I can land that. But if it gets negated, as we saw Tyson Fury do, get on the inside, work him,
Early.
dirty box, and attack the guy and attack
And
and be
lick
real.
him.
And don't just, lick him.
Lick 'em.
And don't just let him set up and hit you with that right hand. If you see that, all of a sudden he didn't have the answers anymore.
Didn't have anything. But I also think that hit behind the head, it was an illegal hit, and he wasn't the same.
Yeah.
After that,
Yeah.
it did factor into the fight, and we'll talk about Custom Gate a little bit later. Apparently, he didn't have his legs, so.
Yeah, you didn't have his legs.
Yeah.
What's the next one? You ran into Teofimo Lopez.
Yeah.
Teofimo Lopez.
Teofimo, he's so much fun. He's 22 years old. Out here, lightweight champion, IBF lightweight champion, about to fight Lomachenko. Bob Arum actually confirmed that it's going to be in May.
That is a legacy
He'll
fight.
take that to Brooklyn. I was mad as fish. He's like, why can't you have it in Vegas? He's like, we might come back. So hopefully he does bring it back. But at 22, man, getting that kind of title shot, and I think it's a good time to actually try to catch Loma, because Loma's gone some rounds. So.
Yeah.
But he also called somebody out in this clip. So let's go ahead and run that. I told somebody I was going to put him in headlock. Cassandra, your girl, the sports senior with Teofimo Lopez, the IBF lightweight champ. How's your night been?
Amazing. I just made a couple $1,000s. You know, a few $1,000s. I made the bet on Tyson Fury winning by knockout. And you know, right now I'm about to go on my way to go cash it in.
Good for you, and great for Tyson Fury, too, because it seemed like everything he said is what he did. But tell me the significance of the jab in that fight, especially early.
Oh, the thing was, those were the keys for these guys, both of them. Not just on one side, it was both of them. The key was who was going to use the jab and who was going to use it more. And that was going to determine who was going to win the fight. And obviously, Fury started it with a strong, meaningful jab. And he ended it the way he did. Honestly, it shows. And Wilder could have done the same thing, but, you know, it just wasn't his night tonight.
Wasn't his night. Looked like he hurt him early, but he was able to keep that fight on the inside and prevent Wilder from getting that right off. I mean, he was hurt and he was crowding him. He couldn't get it off.
No, I know. It's very tough. You know, the heavyweight division, anything can happen. And those punches is not. Those punches are like 30 of our punches, just one punch alone. So in the heavyweight division, that's why people respect it and they love it so much. And I'm so happy that it's back and it's so exciting to watch, especially with guys like this. You know, Wilder, I know he's definitely gonna come back. You know, he's gonna definitely want to take that challenge and he's gonna want to show everyone that he is still the WBC World Champion. And I think everybody needs to definitely watch that next fight.
Now, enough of Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. So Bobby Arum said we're going to see you in May. Yeah. We're going to see you in Vegas. We're going to see you in Madison Square Garden. Where do you want that fight to be?
Oh, back home, baby. BK all day. Brooklyn. So we're going to have it in but we're going to have it in Madison Square Garden. And I think it's going to sell out. So once those tickets come out, I think everybody needs to go and get there right when it comes out. Go ahead and get your ticket because it's not going to last long.
Lomachenko has held the belt for a long time. You're 22 years old. What do you say to the people that say that it's just too soon for you?
They said it with Richard Coleman, and look what happened, so expecting something like that with Lomachenko.
Get these hands.
Oh, yeah, get these hands, get everything. Honestly, I love it. Keep doubting me. You guys motivate me. And to the ones that love me, thank you because you guys motivate me to keep doing it as well. So love and hate me, I'm still going to be here, and you're going to keep watching me.
Hey, good luck to you in May. Hope to see you soon back in Vegas. If not that fight, sometime after that.
Oh, yeah, after that, then we'll bring it back here. We'll even go to the Raiders Stadium and make something happen over there. Could be me and Devin Haney. Who knows?
Okay.
You know? All it is just making exciting fights and making them happen.
Good luck to you. Cassandra Cuzado, your girl, the Sportsnista. So you're talking about Devin Haney. You know?
I like it.
King Ryan don't want none of Devin Haney. They have to work their way up to that fight. But Teofimo at 22 years old was like, bring me all the smoke. I want it all. So good for him.
That's awesome, man. That is awesome. One of the bright young stars, and his trajectory is still going up, man. This fight with Lomachenko is for probably pound for pound.
Yeah, 135 is popping though.
Yeah,
I mean they got a handful of young Thundercats in there ready to just take it. So,
they're good, and I cannot wait for that fight. Are you gonna go? You gotta go to Brooklyn.
Brooklyn? No.
Come on, man.
Are they talking about May? You know, my kids just get out of school. I'm watching my daughter right now. She's eating noodles with my iPads. You know what that iPad's finna look like, right?
Yeah,
she has a fork. I just don't know why she won't use the fork. You know, I believe your grandma's watching too. Grandma, please come get this child. Get this baby.
Oh, man. Good time.
So I think we got color.
Yeah, I like it, man. But before we go any further, should we reach out to our guest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got him?
You got him already.
Set it up.
There
Hello.
Go ahead.
Tell
How are you guys?
Folks, hey there. On the line we have Jorge Capetillo. Jorge has been in Tyson Fury's team for at least 2 fights, perhaps longer. You'll let me know. But was an assistant trainer for this mega fight with Deontay Wilder. Also owns a gym here in Las Vegas where he trains a whole lot of other people. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm so happy to be here in your program. Thank you for the invitation, and just excited to be here.
So I have to tell people that the first time I met you was after Tyson Fury fought Otto Wallin, and Tyson had that horrific cut, right? And so I walked into the post-fight press conference, and Jorge was still drenched in all of the blood from the fight. Still had the cotton swabs in his hand, and was doing his best to stay composed because, now we know Tyson Fury sustained a significant cut, need 47 stitches. But Jorge, you were so gracious to actually take every interview that was requested of you, and so I really appreciated that, and glad that you guys got back to good and you were able to get that win. What did you think of your man's performance?
You know what? I'm so happy. He's been already 3 camps. He's make his Vegas debut back in June against the German Tom Schwarz, and then we fought in September against Otto Alwin. It was a very tough fight where Tyson got a huge gash, and he just got 2 cuts in one in the eyebrow, the other one on the lip of the eye, and as you guys know, he have these stitches, and I'm just very grateful and thank God I have to keep my composure and keep controlling the bleeding. So we got the fight, and that gives us the pass for the rematch. And as you guys see, this last Saturday, I mean, Tyson was in a great shape and great perform. He did a tremendous performance, and just he's a man of his word. And he said he was going to knock out Wilder, and he did.
He did. Did the cut get touched at all?
Again?
Did the cut get touched at all? Did he get hit at all?
No, at all. We didn't got any issue. We didn't got any problem during camp with the cut. It was like never happened, and we were just grateful and happy. The camp was great. Everything was on point, and that's what he performs in a spectacular and a fashion way.
Now, Jorge, you also have a gym here in Las Vegas. You train a lot of young guys that are looking to make this their bread and butter. What can they learn from these 2 fights? So you talk about the same opponents, but I mean different outcomes with Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury between these fights. What can these young guys learn by dealing with adversity and coming back strong and executing a strong game plan?
You know what? On the first fight that he fought Wilder, he lost 150 pounds to get the fight.
Wow.
So with that said, his body was just tired. His body was on a tough training, and just to get the weight down and everything. It's a whole different way you train to fight than you just train to lose the weight. So he knows since day one, his first round, that he was capable to knock out Wilder. It was just a matter of time. It was just a matter to put in the work in the gym, stay focused, pray God, and the results we see on February 22nd. He learns a lot. He needs to be. He's a 6'9" foot tall. He's a tall. He's a big guy. Yes. So with that said, when he fought Schwarz in Vegas, the first time he weighed 263, and he was powerful. When he fought Otto Warren, he came down to 253, and we see the snap was gone. So that's why, everything was prepared for this fight. The last 2 fights was getting ready to fight a rematch with Wilder, and we see that there was the 270 when he got the snap, he got the power. There was no issue with the legs, the conditioning. So everything was on point, guys.
I noticed from the opening bell, Tyson ran out. And you don't see that a whole lot with heavyweights. Ali used to do it. Was that something that came about in the Kronk gym about how he was going to start that fight?
Of course. You know what? Let me tell you, and I have to mention, Sugar Hill, Andy Lee did a tremendous work in the gym.
Amazing.
They bring
amazing work.
Yeah, they bring the experience. They bring, the Kronk style, sitting him on his punches. I mean, giving the confidence, and I'm so grateful, man, because that's the school of the great Emmanuel Stewart, and I'm so happy, it's like honoring him, honoring his hard work, honoring all that he do for the community, in the same way the Sugar Hill is doing it now. So I'm so happy, I feel blessed to be part of it, and like you guys see, it was more seeing the punches. He was fearing Wilder every time that he landed a huge punch. So that's it, It was a tremendous fight.
Now, we of course saw the physical attributes of Tyson Fury. He looked, bouncing around. He obviously had that power and everything. But even the lead up to this fight, mentally, he seemed to be having a lot more fun. He seemed really loose and everything. What can you tell us about the mental state of Tyson Fury and his attitude and his emotions going into the fight?
You know what? He's a person who's always seeking for happiness in the small details. He understands the material don't bring your happiness. So he's just more, he's more spiritual as well. He's a man of faith, like he publicly say. He prays the Lord for the victory.
Yep.
So with that instead, he's just a man who's fulfilling his soul. He feels fulfilling his mind and his body. So everything is coming together, and he always happy, smile, dancing, make everybody feel special, important, and very respectful and humble. So with that instead, man, that's the result that you see in a person when when his heart is filled by love and kindness. That's what it is.
Jorge, so it's been almost a week since the fight, and there was some controversy for Deontay Wilder's camp. So the assistant trainer, Mark Breland, threw in the towel right after the fight at the post-fight press conference. His main trainer, JD's, said it was not his call, that they had talked about it in earlier rounds, and he disagreed, that it was always Deontay's wish that he were to go out on his shield because there's a cliche having a puncher's chance. If it applies to anybody, it applies to Deontay Wilder. What did you make of kind of that kind of tension between the head trainer and the assistant trainer, and the fact that it was the assistant trainer that threw in the towel? Can they come back from that? How much stress is that, or how much tension does that create now on the team?
Yeah, you know what? I think he did the right thing, to be honest. It was just a matter of time to see. We have, we have like they throw the towel. We have like a technical knockout, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we were close to see the knockout, cold.
Gotcha.
Because Tyson was dictating the pace. Tyson was the stronger man in the ring. Tyson was the more with the best conditioning in the ring. So with that said, we could see little by little how Wilder was getting trained. He was getting worn down. So to me, it was a good call, to be honest. Sometimes it's not your night. That's why you have your corner. You should be grateful of your corner. You should be grateful when you know there's nothing else to do. Even with the power the Wilder has in him, it was impossible. It was already the 7 rounds, and there was rounds that he was not even throwing punches.
Yeah.
He was just moving backwards, getting everything that Tyson throws, he was getting to him. So I think it was a good call. I respect him a lot. I respect his full team a lot, and Wilder. So to me, it was a good call, to be honest.
Well, so your role in this fight was different than the previous one, right? Because Ben Davison was not involved in this camp. Tyson decided to switch trainers, and you were previously the cut man, but you brought in your mentor, Stitch Duran, and so that created a different dynamic for you. But have you ever seen that where the assistant throws in the towel and the head trainer voices this publicly that it was a problem?
Yeah, no, I never see that, to be honest. I think it's like Giovanni, the man, in our side, in our corner, in our team. It was Giovanni Sugar Hill, the man who is the chieftain, is the one who should be throwing the towel. Not me, not Andy Lee, not Stitch. You know what I mean? He's the man in command. So I think maybe on that situation, maybe you're right. It has to be the main coach who throws the towel. He should be like telling him, hey, I think we should do it now, or whatever. But you're right. I think there was the main coach who has the responsibility to stop the fight.
Yeah, now we start looking ahead. Of course, the talk is Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua for all the marbles. Looking at that, I mean, what do you see when you see a guy like Anthony Joshua standing across the cage, across the ring from your guy?
I'm going to talk by facts. we see Anthony Joshua, who got knocked out by Andy Reid. And with that said, I mean, to be honest, I mean, I got a lot of respect for Anthony. You know, he's been doing a lot since the amateurs for his country, for his career, now as a world champion, you know. But to be honest, this is the time for Fury. To be honest, I believe Tyson Fury is the best heavyweight in this era. And he already proved it. He make a comeback, losing 150 pounds. He got the fight with Walter, the first one. He got a draw. Even though he got knocked down twice, I think Tyson won the first fight. And just in the second fight, he rolled over him. So he's proving a lot. And Anthony Joshua, to me, don't have the capacity to box or to be standing in front of Tyson Fury. I think Tyson is in his prime. Is this Tyson time? And if they fight, I'll definitely back it up. My man, I definitely back it up. Tyson Fury, he become undisputed and champion of the world.
Yeah, people forget Tyson Fury is 31 years old. He's not 36. No, he actually legit is in his boxing prime. So before we let you go, who are you working with? Who you got coming up?
I have Jesse Magdaleno. Please stay tuned. We're fighting on March 14 on Madison Square Garden in New York. We're fighting for the silver WBC belt, and we're just getting ready for the title shot. We are the between 1 and 2 fights to get a title shot this year. So please stay tuned, and we're ready.
And give a shout out to your gym too. If guys are interested in dropping by your gym, how can they find you? Where can they find you?
Thank you. You know, I want to invite all the people in Las Vegas to our gym. We are located in 3430 East Tropicana Avenue, Suite 60 and 61. Whenever you guys want to come down, we're in Tropicana and Pecos, and we'll be more than happy to see you guys here.
We like it, man. Thank you so much, Jorge, for taking the time to chat with us, and we cannot wait to see the big things coming up for all your fighters here in the future.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for inviting me to your program. I feel happy, I feel blessed, and I just want to say thanks.
Take care.
All right. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
There you go, man.
It's a great story. It's a great story because no one was on more of a hot seat than Jorge Capetillo during that Otto Wallin fight. Like, he literally had to save that Fury-Wilder matchup because anything... we
were watching. We were wondering who the guy was applying that Vaseline
like
there,
the whole jar of it.
The whole jar every single time.
Yep.
That was Jorge.
Yep, that was Jorge Capetillo. So,
you know what? I wonder what, and it's probably a good question for him next time we talk to him. But I wonder what an assistant trainer does. Yeah. You know, we know the fighters go to the Hakkasan and they go party and everything. What does a trainer do the next day? He walks in the gym going, I got the champion of the world, baby. You know what I mean? I wonder how that is. I wonder what that feeling is like.
Champ of the world.
That's so cool.
He's right, though. Tyson Fury is the best heavyweight in the world right now. And honestly, I don't think it's close.
I believe it, man. You know, but we need, boxing fans, and especially casual fans, that, it all comes down to belts like it does championships or anything else. So, I mean, he beats Anthony Joshua, becomes the first unified heavyweight champion in forever.
One of the Klitschko's,
since
right?
Klitschko or Lewis or one of those guys.
Lennox.
But to look at what he did with Deontay Wilder, the adversity he faced with Otto Wallin, and then ending Klitschko's reign and doing all that, that's a Hall of Fame career right there.
It really is.
Regardless of the next steps, that's a Hall of Fame career.
And everything that he's actually had to overcome mentally to get there. I asked him. I said, he talks so much about being a hero for people who are depressed and for folks who don't feel like they don't have anything, have anyone in their corner. And who is your Tyson Fury then? Yeah. Who is there for you? And I asked his brother the same question. They both had the same answer. They said that it was God. And Tyson said, I've always had Jesus Christ. And when I asked his brother, he didn't even hear it. The brother didn't hear it. I went to him immediately after. I was like, who does he have? And he was like, it's always been Jesus Christ. And I said, well, what about the family? Does the family fill that void? And he's like, well, for boxing, but we didn't know what he was dealing with. So we really couldn't. We just had our family relationship, and we couldn't provide any help to him.
Which I think is an interesting dynamic that a lot of these behind the scenes don't really deal with. A lot of the behind the scenes videos that come out, and that's real popular now. I believe that's something that your good friend, the Raging Babe,
yeah.
She has a new series, Boxing Moms, and it goes deeper into the family aspect of these fighters, which is so important to so many of the fighters. You don't too often find too many fighters that are like, screw my family.
No.
Most times it's their family that's held them up and held them through
Had
this
to make all the sacrifices. Mom is the nutritionist, and she's the chauffeur and the landlord.
Teofimo Lopez, his dad, having such a integral part in his rise to stardom and everything, and to that championship level. So it's a really interesting dynamic, and it's really fascinating, especially I love that Tyson Fury has become such a champion for shining a light on that aspect of it, because so many of these fighters and even just professional sports athletes on different level, men and women, deal with these issues, and it can be you see these folks and they make millions of dollars, but it can be such a lonely life because there's not too many people who can relate to you who aren't your direct teammates, and oftentimes you don't want to tell your teammates like, I feel sad today.
Right.
or something like
I'm
that.
I'm hearing some stuff in my head that don't make no kind of sense.
And so, it's really impressive that he would take that on and do that. So,
and he's flawed.
Yeah.
Tyson Fury's a flawed
and he
man.
doesn't he doesn't run from it.
Yeah.
He accepts it. Even when later in the week when Deontay kind of went low and was like, calling him a co-kid and all these things were getting thrown at him, he just kind of took it in stride and was just like, I mean, that was part of it, and look what I've come back from, and so it's really impressive to see what they've done. So let's kind of jump back into fight week.
As I'm eating these, it's Pop cereal and marshmallows, and I made it legit for myself. I didn't make.
Speaking of boxing moms, okay, yeah, she does this, and this is what she does. A couple weeks ago, she brought in a vegetarian pizza or vegan pizza.
Vegan, and it was good.
It was good. It was all right.
My blood sugar drops this time of day. I do.
And speaking of, so who's the next one we have here? We got a picture pulled up, and I believe this is the Hitman? Is this Tommy Hearns?
Tommy Hearns. So what had happened was, usually there's a media room reserved, and something happened with the schedule. So we got kicked out of the media room, and there's that Chinese restaurant in MGM. You know what I'm talking about? It's not that. It's been there maybe a year. It's next to the Art of Music, actually.
Panda Express.
Right, Panda Express.
It's Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons, Panda Express.
And so we were legit in front of this restaurant. That was the media room. And so
this is you guys pulled up. Tommy's like,
we were watching people go by, and I was like, I was tracking. I'm like, hey, is that Tommy Hearns? I jumped over the railing, and I was like, hey.
Who's my man? Who's my man right behind your head? Is that his guy?
It was one of the security guys that was walking with him. That was useless when I rolled up. He just
rolled his eyes.
I'm like,
I can't stop her.
Who do you got tonight? And he said Wilder.
He said Wilder.
Yeah.
Hope he didn't place the bet.
No, Teofimo won some money.
I talked to Hitman Hearns a couple of years ago at the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame thing, and such an incredible guy. Still after all these years, I mean, you are the Hitman Hearns, and he's such a humble guy and so just down to earth, man. So what was such a great representative of boxing.
Real cool. He almost knocked me over because he was kind of grabbing me and putting his, taking a picture, and I'm like, these paws right here, like he's still got some paws.
Yeah, boy. Don't take his tapioca. He'll put some hands. Oh no, he'll probably hit me for saying that. You got one more picture here. Who's this?
Hoodies.
Oh, who is this?
Hoodies ladies.
Oh, the squad. You and the squad on the weekend, huh?
I adore these ladies.
Who are these
You're not
ladies?
supposed to have favorites, but Quan is
Quan, who's your favorite on here?
I don't know her name, but she's on the Well, I don't know.
How do you describe her?
Just both.
All of them.
The two on the end.
All of them. So
Blondes
these
don't do anything for me. So the two on the end.
These are the top ranked knockouts, and they're always there. They're the ring girls. They hold the cards, and they're also standing there smiling behind the fighters during the face-offs. And I'm always like, yo, how y'all just standing there like smiling like some crazy stuff is happening in front of
And
you.
just to let everybody know on
They're
the screen, if they're
professionals.
watching the live stream, I did not mean for that angle for Jeremy.
For what angle?
Oh, that's hilarious. You're going to get cut. You're going to get cut.
Oh, yeah. If I look this way.
You're about to get cut. You know? So we're standing there and like folks taking pictures, and Tiana on my far left.
I'm just having fun. Sorry.
She was like, you know what, these boys, I'm telling you. She was like, you want to take a photo? I was like, yes. 'Cause they've taken pictures with my son and my daughter before, and you know, my son just adores them. So I was like, all right, I'll get in the middle of them. I'm trying to hold this down. These two fools right here.
Sorry.
It's getting real
I can't help it. I am face first with Miss far left here. And she seems very qualified for that job.
Jeremy was not ready for all that jelly right now. He was not
I was
ready.
not. I was. You. If that was a gun, I'd be dead. You caught me in the face with that one.
What's the song, Kwam? Booty, 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 booty everywhere.
Yes. She asked me like she didn't know.
Oh, like she didn't know.
Right, like I didn't know.
You were in that video too, weren't you?
That's the only line I know from that song. Is booty, 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 booty everywhere. I don't
That's
know.
the only line anyone knows from that song.
That's the only
have to look that
line in that song.
I know. It goes on for 12 minutes,
I'm
and
gonna
that's
ask
it.
Alexa actually. to
Yeah,
play it,
yeah, we would do
when I
that.
get home, play booty everywhere.
So much
Yeah,
fun.
so it was fun. You know,
Yeah.
it was a
Top rank
great.
girls.
Looks fun.
You know, we're trying to get them in here. So
It's
coming
still pulled
weeks-
up on the screen.
in the coming weeks.
I
You
keep
know,
looking over and I'm just like, okay. Yeah, and we have, you know, what's great is a bunch of boxing stuff coming up here. We're just gonna leave this up. Quan's having a darn good time.
Children's, these children's, I'm telling you.
I'm having a great time too. My face is warm over here. It's so warm, just like a pillow. There you go, just leaning on it.
Help you.
It's
no,
good stuff, man.
Jesus.
Yeah, you can tell the maturity level here just dropped. We got to watch the
Lack of
stuff.
sleep.
And then we had you did run into Deontay Wilder, and we had a
did.
very
Did I
quick.
put that in the? Do you have that?
I think
Quan?
yeah,
Oh, you do?
we had. We'll give him a second to get that. But I think it was the name calling back
Yeah.
and forth.
It was, so Tyson Fury got a lot of names for Deontay Wilder, the biggest one being the Big Duster, which, from what I understand, is like the person that carries the bags. You know, kind of like the peasant servant kind of guy. Like the Brits can give you like nicknames that they can play the dozens, and it still sounds very appropriate. So very proper. So I said, he's got a lot of nicknames for you, Deontay. You got one for him. And, I finally caught up to him to ask him that question. You got it, Quan? What's your nickname? Maybe. Maybe not. Deontay Tyson has a lot of nicknames for you. You got any for him?
Big Mama.
He was calling him Big Mama like the whole time. And yeah,
Big Mama.
I know some big mamas who could fight, so he ran up on one that did. I just want to say about Deontay Wilder is that this is a man who, it was his 11th title defense. 41 wins, 41 knockouts.
42 wins.
42 wins, 42
41.
knockouts.
41.
So something like that. And when every time you step into that ring, you are susceptible to losing or getting hurt.
Yeah.
And the fact that he came through and took that fight twice and fought everybody before that, people are always getting on fighters for losing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Most of the champions have.
Yeah.
Being undefeated is a very rare thing, and I think losing is actually part of winning, because you have to learn something. And I'm going to say this. I love JD. Nice guy. Has Deontay Wilder's back at heart, for real. But it may be time for Deontay to move on from JD's. if he's been your trainer since you were a teenager and you still haven't developed a proficient jab, and the strategy is to take on damage because you know that you can land your heavy right, you might want to start reevaluating that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think it was maybe a little short-sighted. I think they started to believe the pillow fist thing that they put out there with Tyson Fury, even though Tyson Fury also has 21 or 22 or 20-something knockouts in his, at the time, 29 fights. And that's like saying, just because you haven't knocked out everyone doesn't mean you don't have knockout power. And I think they honestly believed that. And Tyson just had a really good. Now he doesn't seem to possess the one punch knockout power that Deontay Wilder has.
Right, no one in the world does. Yeah,
but exactly. No one in the world really has that at that kind of level, that scary kind of level that he can land at any time. But to do that and totally dismiss that, was, I think, foolhardy. And it may be in Deontay Wilder's best interest to do that, get another trainer. All the greats have done it. They've all switched up.
Tyson Fury did it for this fight.
Everyone does it, man.
Manny Robles got some spots open right now.
One of our listeners just chimed in and said, Wilder being 34, he's never going to,
right.
Technically, he's coming out of his prime and everything. So he may need to switch it up and come up with a better, at least, have a real strong jab or something that can keep guys at bay and keep them from getting inside, because now the blueprint's been laid.
Right.
Now you see. Now it's kind of like you take that aura of invincibility away. Now you know how to, kind of the same with Mike Tyson back in the day. Guys found out that if you could just weather a storm, not make any huge mistakes and get caught with those huge uppercuts, that you can just attack a guy and eventually he'll start cracking. And that's what we're seeing more and more of. So it'll be very interesting to see what he does going forward. And he's still, he's not done. So for the people that are, he's done. He's a bum.
Fights to be made in that
there's
division.
so many lucrative fights to be made. And they're already saying, we can definitely see this fight again with Tyson and more fights.
He's exercised the rematch clause.
Okay.
So they will fight again. And it's a timing thing. They said probably July, which I think is too soon. I think they need a longer runway, give fans a chance to catch their breath a little bit and run it back. But the problem is now, because Deontay exercised the rematch clause, we're probably not going to get Fury and Anthony Joshua this year.
Which is a shame.
Yeah.
And, there's no need to rush it, I guess. But, so what does Anthony Joshua do? I guess he takes another...
if he was going to take the Fury fight to begin with, who knows? Anthony Joshua, I don't think he wants that fight either.
Anthony Joshua. Eddie Earn is trying to hide Anthony Joshua. Eddie, come on, Eddie. Come on, Eddie. You play too much, Eddie.
But what do you think about Andy Ruiz and Deontay Wilder?
I wouldn't mind seeing that fight. I think Andy Ruiz needs to do some work. I think he cannot just stand there and get punched like he did with Anthony Joshua, because Anthony Joshua is not Deontay Wilder, and Deontay Wilder will punch him into the upside down. He will see the kids from Stranger Things on the other side going, oh my God, he'll snatch my man's soul. So, he can't do that. But Andy Ruiz also has big power too. So I would like to see that matchup, but I would like to see a motivated Andy Ruiz, not someone who openly admits, I just sat down at every buffet and ate everything inside. I don't want to see that guy. I have no interest in seeing that guy.
Snickers with a knife and fork.
Yeah.
It was a
it was fancy.
Meal.
It was fancy. But, whatever. Yeah, okay. Then also, looking ahead, we have a big fight this weekend. Well, not as big, but Mikey Garcia and Jesse Vargas.
Yeah.
And you also got to talk to these guys.
I interviewed both of them. A story coming out tomorrow on lvsportsbiz.com. Actually, I did a ton of work for the Fury Wilder fight too, so we've got a ton of stories up there too. But these two, like when you talk about gentlemen of the sport, Mikey Garcia and Jesse Vargas are in that conversation. They're professionals.
Yeah.
And they're, doing things the right way. They also both agreed to mandatory VADA testing for the fight, and that says a lot. as well. And I got to get the numbers right, but I think that test is like $20,000.
Yeah, it's
So
not cheap.
it ain't cheap, but
No.
the WBC, from my understanding, is doing something, working with fighters to make sure if they want it, you can get it. And so it's going to be more affordable across the board. So that's important. But this is an important fight for Mikey Garcia because we last saw him lose badly to Errol Spence. He is back in his natural weight class.
Yeah.
Jesse Vargas, actually, Jorge Capetillo used to train.
Jesse.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna mix up. I'm thinking Jesse Magdaleno.
Magdaleno,
Yeah. And
Right.
Diego Magdaleno, another set of brothers.
Well, Vargas is, of course, a Vegas local boy,
Yeah.
and heck of a guy who challenged Pacquiao a while back, and he's still got some pop in him, and that's going to be a good
making his way
fight.
back.
Yeah, making his way back, man. So very interesting
Yeah.
matchup. Probably leaning toward Mikey
Yeah.
there, but a local boy done good. I'd like to see
Yeah.
that story play out, but more than likely with Garcia back at his natural weight,
Yeah.
we're going to
That's
see
the problem.
his kind of return and
Yeah.
everything. All hats up to Mikey Garcia for
Mm-hmm.
trying to go up and challenge one of the best. I mean, Errol Spence is not an easy fight for anyone,
Yeah.
and especially pre-accident Errol Spence. I mean,
Right.
he was just wrecking dudes. But you saw the disparity in size and weight and everything else. And and honestly, there's levels to this, right? I mean, you
There's
saw
levels to this
he
shit.
got outboxed, he got out muscled and everything
Yeah.
else. So I'd like to see him return to his natural
It's the
weight here.
reason why they have weight classes.
There's a reason that they're weak.
You mentioned
Unless
a
you're
name.
a Russian fighter,
Yeah, well then it don't matter.
or unless you're a YouTube star, then there's apparently
then
no
there's-
weight classes.
Yeah. I asked actually Jesse about what he thought because they were fighting on DAZN. What he thought about it, and he's like, well, what he would like to see more of is these YouTubers actually trying to develop as boxers. He doesn't mind them being on, but the circus part of it, he could do with less of.
Yeah, and you know what I see good. We had Jay Chandri on. Your good guy from Break Media, Break Media, and he's really knowledgeable about the sport. He follows a lot of the digital imprints of boxing and fights and things like that. And really good point that he made on Twitter was basically saying, it's not enough for these guys, the YouTube guys, to come in. Now we need to see the boxing guys with the YouTubers to get that rub.
Yeah.
And rub is a pro wrestling term. There you
okay.
go. A rub is a pro wrestling
What's that
term where
mean?
you build another guy up. You have these guys on your show.
Like the Brooklyn Brawler.
Yeah.
He was a rub, right? See?
He's not a rub.
He wasn't? Okay.
A rub is what you give someone else. Bring up that top rank picture again. I'm just kidding. Not that kind of rub
Not
either.
that kind of rub.
Well, you have another term is shine. You give the shine to someone else, right? So you introduce, and you're starting to see it now. And the Paul brothers have had some of these boxers on their program, which you're introducing
Had they? I don't know.
40, 50 million people
Yeah.
to a boxer they otherwise wouldn't have known anything about. And you're not talking about just United States fans. You're talking about
Right.
fans from all the way around the world,
Right.
which builds these guys up. So if you're going to get into a sport and you have that audience already, I think it's very important that you do your part. And that's part of paying your dues, kind of like if you're going to come in and make this kind of money, at least have our guys on. At least, give our guys a little something in return. And don't just come in, make a quick couple of million and then leave again once you go on to making unboxing videos or whatever these dudes do. Give a little bit something back. And so I'd like to see them doing the things that they're doing. And it was a really good point that Jay made.
Yeah.
And so that fight's coming up this weekend. And is that on DAZN or is that at ESPN?
DAZN.
That's DAZN.
With no O. It's pronounced DAZN. Ain't no O.
Our longtime listener, Chris Rhodes, saying that Brooklyn Brawler was what we call a jobber. That's the guys who go out there and their only job is to go out there and lose
Oh, okay.
and make the other guy look good.
Oh, okay.
Make the other guy
He
look
wasn't
strong.
a rubber. He was
No,
a
he wasn't
jobber.
Not a rubber. He was a. Oh, there's so many ways I could take that, but you know what? We don't have time for that right now.
I said what I said.
You're killing me. You're killing me. A rubber. Knew a girl in high school like that. The rub. The rub is pro wrestling term. Yeah, absolutely. So there you go. So if we're back to giving you pro wrestling terms and giving you pro wrestling
See, I'm
history.
learning.
No, the next thing we'll start reaching out to some pro wrestlers, having them on the show so we can
goodness.
utterly confuse
Yeah,
you
it's gonna be
about anything and everything. And of course, MMA, UFC, Joseph Benavidez
Yep.
goes for a title. He's got his title shot, his long sought title shot. And kind of the news there is his wife is Megan O'Leary, who is their backstage reporter, and she's been that for a number of years. She's actually letting those duties go, and she's going to be sitting ringside to watch her husband.
Yeah, it's not
fight for the title.
uncommon. Jordan Hardy does it when her husband Caleb Plant fights. So yeah, you couldn't. It'd be too difficult. I mean, listen, Benavidez at some point when Cejudo comes back, like those two are gonna have to figure it out.
Yeah, and Cejudo's facing Jose Aldo in Brazil for some reason. I don't know.
Goofa. It's like you
kinda
lose and
goofy.
you get a title shot. Right
Yeah,
away.
it's UFC is getting real weird, man. I mean, giving guys with multiple losses now, title shots and big money fights. I don't get it. I think it's a detriment to their sport, but it's not my company.
Yeah.
So what do I care, honestly?
Speaking of, we got 248.
248.
next week.
It is.
Yeah.
What you think?
I don't know. I got these loud children over there. I don't know what's going on. Isabel, please tell your brother, be quiet. Thank you. Like,
Well, there you have it.
give him the look. Give him the look.
That sideways glance there.
Man, what's wrong with you? 248, Israel Adesanya and
Yoel
Yoel Romero. They're going to dance
Yep, Israel.
inside and outside the octagon.
What do you think? I mean, a little bit of controversy from that, the comments that Adesanya made about the Twin Towers crumbling and kind of being insensitive to, a national tragedy here.
I didn't
he's
hear
not
that.
from this country.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't hear that?
No, I didn't hear.
Oh,
What
he
kind
said
of
he was
thing?
going to make Yoel Romero crumble like the Twin Towers.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah, and it's trash talk, but it's not even good trash
Yeah,
talk. Like, oh, come on, man. I mean, like,
Yeah.
3,000 people lost their lives.
Yeah.
You can come up with something different. No, I wasn't like crazy like some people get on there. Oh, he's anti this and he's that. Whatever. I think if you're gonna come with trash talk, at least make it better because
Right.
that was weak. And honestly, from a guy who breakdances like that,
I expect better from
I
you.
expect better. Goose Thomas wants to know UFC 248 is gonna be at your house, right? I'm guessing your house.
My house, like in my crib, it's possible, man.
All right.
Be some
Look at
things
that. We're
happening.
inviting all the listeners right now. We're all going up to Cece's.
Yeah.
She's got popcorn and what is that? Marshmallows.
Marshmallow. No,
Popcorn
this is
and
pops, like
Oh,
the
it's
cereal.
popcorn pops.
Corn pops, the cereal.
I thought you said popcorn.
It's dry cereal.
Oh,
Yeah.
dry cereal and marshmallows.
Miniature marshmallows. I thought it'd be interesting.
We're gonna play we're gonna play booty
Booty everywhere.
everywhere. We're gonna play Gold Digger. We're gonna show you where Cece is in that video. So funny to me.
But it should be. It's gonna be a good scrap. Joanna Jurzetic, I can say her name, and Bailey Zhang are gonna be co-main eventing on that, and so big week. There's actually they're gonna be giving Daniel Cormier some kind of special jacket on the Friday before the fight. Did you see that, Quan? Yeah, during the so they sent out the whole media week schedule, and they're gonna be giving DC some kind of jacket during Ultimate Media Day. So
on Thursday, okay.
yeah,
Huh,
it's
look at
gonna
that.
be a big jacket.
Oh, that's cool, man. I remember when I was still covering UFC regularly, the Pettis fight when he landed on the Wheaties box, and they gave everyone a box of Wheaties with Anthony Pettis on it.
cool.
It was really cool.
And it keep you regular.
And it,
They're looking out.
in case you want to fit in any top rank spandex,
Yes,
keeps you regular, keeps you fit.
regular.
In here,
Yep.
in here,
Yep.
the
At
tummy
least for
areas.
an hour.
I'm a step away from using some control top hose.
It like the rails are off. Folks. Come on.
Ask your mom and your grandmama about them control tops.
Oh my God! Shoot, I got some. They're called Spanx. What the hell are you talking about?
They got
They're called
Spanx.
Spanx.
Now they call them Spanx. We used to
Yeah.
call them control top hoses.
Spanx.
I
I
made a
tried
mistake.
them on, y'all.
I made
They
a
try to
mistake.
kill you.
I asked my mom one time what those were.
Oh gosh.
She about smacked me.
Yeah.
Boy.
Those Spanx are like try to cut you in half though.
Yeah,
Can't
yeah.
fool
They
with
have
those.
guy Spanx too.
Manx.
Yeah, Manx. Yeah, and all it does is just pushes your organs
Yeah.
further here and pushes
It's like
your meats
your
in different
liver
directions.
don't belong in your throat.
It just spreads you out a little bit more.
Flattens out your man meats.
And with that, we want to thank Jorge Capetillo for joining us. Yeah, we've lost control.
Yeah,
Guys.
completely. I had too much sugar.
Too much sugar. CZ, thank you so much for joining me. It's good to be back.
Yay.
Doing it. And for everyone who listened and chimed in here on Facebook Live, you could do that too. And a special shout out to, of course, our sponsor, Mossberg Injury Lawyers. Call them up anytime. If you ask your wife about her spanks and she smacks you and you have a personal injury, you can call them. The Mossberg Injury Lawyers, those guys. So for Gorilla Cross, Quan59, I'm Jeremy Long. She's the Sportsnista. We'll catch you same time next week. See you later.